Greetings everyone, and welcome to Anime Night in the Dojo. Today's featured show, My Hero Academia, the final season.
Yep, My Hero Academia, the final season. Welcome back to the dojo. I'm Ryu. That's Age. We're back for more Anime Night in the dojo. And hey, if those of you coming from the other channel looking for us, welcome back. If you're just finding us for the first time, welcome. Since we are starting technically a new show, a new set of shows, except for Angachi Akuda, I need to explain how we're doing stuff again. So you guys can see the timer here above me. We have now split our videos into two separate parts where we do a full timer-based reaction where, if you don't know what that is, it means you can see the timer, where we're at in the episode from the get-go, and you watch it with us. You can see our reactions, what we talk about during the thing. And I don't have to worry about copyright at all because I still have to do that video explaining how I got my other channel back and, you know, all my VODs and Twitch archives and stuff, which I'll try to do this week or something, so that's just out there and done. But what happened, in short, if you missed it, was some random company in Japan put copyright strikes on my Fire Force content and got my original channel taken down. I fought back. Unsurprisingly, they weren't willing to come to California to serve me in court and weren't going to make any money off me because that channel wasn't monetized yet. You know, we were, cruising right along, getting more subscribers, that kind of thing. But we were still, several hundred away from being monetized. So what are they going to take from me? So it was just, blatant abuse of the YouTube copyright system. I fought back, got my stuff back. But since I don't want that to happen, all my Twitch VODs are there. I almost lost, 5 years of Twitch content, which would have been madness. This year, I've been saving, where I can to get like a big ass hard drive and just download all my stuff to have it locally, and that won't be a problem. But either way. So what we're doing now is the timer-based reactions up there. Those go up on Patreon, all free. I'm not paywalling anything. But those are going to be over on Patreon in the link. They'll still be coming from YouTube, but if you want to see the timer-based reaction stuff and a little bit of talking afterwards, that'll be there for you on Patreon, all that kind of stuff. And then over here on YouTube, which everybody will be able to see, will just be the intro here, like this bit, and then straight into the discussion and review. So if you want to see everything we're doing, the link to the Patreon is, on the page here, and then it will always be a link to the Patreon episode that's tied to this on Patreon. So if you're looking for anything in particular on Patreon, there's a handy dandy search function. So if you put, My Hero Academia or MHA into my Patreon page, it should come up. So that's where we're at. Just to avoid any and all copyright shenanigans, because I'm not putting up with that again. It's not worth it. So anyway, that's where we're at. We're back for more MHA here. I'm excited to finish this up. We're on to the final season. Last time we got left off on the big Ochako and Toga stuff, and then we got the last little bit with All Might taking the field with his big Hercules, like Iron Man suit, having, aspects from all the Class 1A members and stuff like that. And Deku's fighting. Deku is having a slow dance with Shigaraki in the sky until further notice. I mean, everything's happening at the same time, but you know what I mean. So, yeah, as far as we know, this season is shorter. I believe it's 12 or 13 episodes, but it's going to wrap up the series. I know a lot of people had issues with how the series ended, but I believe the author went through and made a longer epilogue with like stuff like Dobby and stuff like that, a bunch of unanswered questions, wrap that stuff up, and maybe we'll get more in the anime here. You know what I mean? That kind of thing, that the author could just be like, okay, add this, and then add this, that kind of thing, epilogue-wise. So
yeah, the since the author has made the epilogue, we'll see, they might have the anime doing like an extended ending.
Yeah. To
include stuff from the epilogue.
Yeah. So either way, looking forward to this. It's been a long time staple of the channel since pretty much we started. We'll be wrapping this up in this season here. So yeah, it's been a hell of a ride. So looking forward to how this wraps up. I've seen a couple things, but nothing I didn't really already know about. I had like a couple things spoiled, but again, it's not one of those situations where it matters to me. Unless you're spoiling the entire script, then, I want to know the rest of it. So, yeah. But anyway, I think I explained everything I needed to for people returning or coming here for the first time for this. So, yeah, might as well just push some buttons and get started here. So people, if you're on Patreon, we'll see you on the other side of the edit for the start of Patreon, and we'll get the timer stuff going. And people that are on YouTube, we'll see you on the other side of the edit for the discussion and review. So here goes something. Well, alrighty then. There you guys have it. You guys remember this guy? He got a freaking card and everything last season, and they gave him another card, and then he was unceremoniously RKO'd because he was stupid enough to take Aoyama's belt from him. I mean,
yeah, he made the dumb of taking Aoyama's belt away from him, combined with he didn't notice Hagakure was there and how much synergy they have.
Yeah, obviously something he wouldn't know. I mean, she's invisible until Aoyama's power, I guess, glitches her quirk a little bit, which, you know, light breaking an optical illusion kind of makes sense. So, you know, especially light that's shining in his attack is omnidirectional. You know what I mean? It's going to be
when he doesn't have his belt to focus it, he just kind of unleashes a blast of light and everything in front of him.
Yep.
Hagakure's invisibility is a bit weird, though, in that it doesn't follow most of the normal conventions of light reflection, like the fact that her invisibility is omnidirectional,
right,
or the fact that normally light reflecting fields have variable thicknesses to them, which is what usually causes visible distortions to it. Like, that's what the reasoning behind, say, like in optical camouflage in Halo, why you can see the elites if you look closely enough, is it's an imperfect field, so therefore it causes distortions in the light, and you can see the distortions.
Yep. So either way,
hers, however, is omnidirectional and has zero distortion to it under normal circumstances. The only thing that he could really kind of come up with as to why it glitches out is that, like, basically saying that the only thing that really kind of makes sense would be the idea that Aoyama's laser is too much light for her field to handle, and some of it manages to get inside.
Right.
And basically be refracted on the inside of the field, and therefore cause minor visibility.
Yep.
Through it.
So there is definitely something going on with that. Also, she's not the kind of invisible character that, you know, her clothing is still visible, so she kind of has to be in the nude.
Well, so
minus her gloves.
One of the main things that people bring up in question about this is, I don't know if this is answered in the epilogue, but one of the things that people have questioned ever since Lemillion was introduced is, why don't they just have Hagakure have a suit made out of her hair, similar to Lemillion? Because her hair has her quirk too, and so if you make fabric out of her hair, then it would also be invisible like she is, and she could actually still have clothes on.
Yeah. Probably didn't get that far. Maybe it's because he's an upperclassman. Maybe they don't do it for first years. Who knows?
I think the biggest reasoning for it really would, be just that he's one of the top three, one of the big three, and was the previous pick for being, like, All Might's successor. So he got a lot of special treatment, whereas she hasn't had any real opportunities to get any sort of special equipment made from the support corps.
Yep. So either way, we handled that guy, which, once again, he was unceremoniously RKO'd. His flowers are obviously still a problem because they're corpse flowers. So they're just kind of be there doing what they do until they completely get burned away, which it's a shame that the entire Todoroki family is KO'd right now, because they could just be like, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Todoroki would have been able to just hand wave this guy immediately.
Yeah, so any other fire user, Bakugo could blow this up, but, he's, MIA at the moment as well, getting his heart repaired by freaking Edgeshot, which that's probably what's happening, is Edgeshot is finishing up, becoming his heart, and Bakugo is going to come back. You know what I mean?
Bakugo would have a bit more problem with this, because Bakugo is more just the explosive kinetic force with fire as a byproduct.
Yeah.
Whereas, say, like Shoto literally could just hand wave, and this whole situation would be resolved.
Yeah. But either way, took care of this, the loose end that we talked about for like 7 episodes, and then they take care of it in the after post-credit sequence. It's like, oh yeah, maybe we should just do this. Yeah, let's just do this. Screw this guy. I don't want to do anything with him. Let's just make a fat gum flower and then just have him get RKO'd by the 1-2 combo of Hagakure and Aoyama. So, either way, that's handled, but obviously the rest of this episode was centered around 10 minutes of recap. For whatever reason, I can understand. I know people were complaining about the first episode, and that's more than likely the reason I didn't really look into it, but just like, you just reuse the same footage from the last episode, pretty much, and just... I know
one thing that a bunch of people have been complaining about is the fact that Hagakure's been visible as much as she has been between like the brief glimpse we got last season and then freaking now we have this whole scene here where she's just full on visible, basically.
Right. I think most of the complaints were that she has the best character model and they can't believe that she wasn't utilized throughout the whole series.
So yeah, I have seen a bunch of people like joking about the fact that, of course, the author made the invisible girl the most attractive, quote unquote.
Yeah, hilarious. Gotta love it. But either way, the rest of this, we talked a little bit about it at the end of the reaction. There was, All Might went through, like 99% certain that he went through all of Class 1A's abilities, like Deku's shoot style, not like everything Deku can do. But
he used Black Whip and shoot style.
Yeah, he used Black Whip and shoot style. And then he went through everybody else here at the end. Like, there at the end, as Aoyama's laser was... Well, not Aoyama's laser, but his version of Aoyama's laser from the Hercules cannon was hitting. He showed off Hagakure's, like, the armor stuff that was on his armor to prevent the laser from hurting him. Jiro's, like, earphone sound attack. And then he had Minetta's, like, something similar to his sticky balls.
Yeah, the Hagakure thing was that the suit has a minor light refracting field on it that doesn't really make him invisible or anything. It just helps dissipate light-based attacks.
Yep. So at this point, he used everybody but Bakugo, which I don't know if he has something for that or what, but I know he called out everybody, including people like Kale Man and Sugar Man.
Even though Sugar Man was just a giant foot.
Yeah, it was just the boost and then the giant foot.
At this point, the only thing he hasn't busted out is King Explosion Murder.
Right,
and,
see, now if he says that, that'll be friggin' hilarious. But to be fair, Genis deadpan thing in the hospital, you're not going to beat that. For those of you who don't remember, when they're all in the hospital after that first fight, and like Bakugo's like getting dragged down the hallway by like Sugar Man and Mineta and freaking Asui. It's just like they walk past Genis and he's like, "Great Explosion Murder God Dynamite. Are you okay?" It's like, what do you think? Just the deadpan his entire freaking hero name. You're not going to beat Genis just saying that. And props to that guy if he did that in one take, by the way, because I would have been laughing too hard.
I mean, it's just kind of turned into a joke now of referring to him by his name, like Ida does it, and several other characters do it as well. But that's the only thing he hasn't used yet, and I assume at this point that it's like a self-destruct on the suit or something like that,
right?
As like a last fail-safe.
Yeah, something like that. So, either way, they showcased all the All Might stuff that they needed to, like his all the like origin stuff, whatnot, even in the ED or the OP, whatever we got shown there. Like, we got that couple frames with like his mom, I guess that's who that was. I mean, it looked like it would be potentially his mother in that sequence, so maybe we'll get something more on that as this fight reaches its like peak, because obviously there's still a bunch of stuff going on with this fight, because now Stain has showed up as we assumed he was, because again, he was in the vicinity and he's the biggest All Might fanboy there is, besides like Midoriya and Bakugo. So you know what I mean? He's not just gonna sit there and let him die.
No, once again, Stain's entire character is just him being freaking All Might's ideology dialed up to 11 to the point where he's willing to do evil in order to maintain it.
Yeah.
Whereas All Might isn't.
Yeah. So we figured Stain was going to show up. We got that. I mentioned this at the end of the reaction. This woman has not seen the Jersey episode of South Park. If you guys want to know, and that's a perfect example of this situation that she was talking about here. It's like, it's happening in a faraway country. It's not going to affect us. Okay? Go watch the Jersey episode of South Park. Pretty soon you're going to become West Jersey or East Jersey. You know what I mean? If Japan falls, then it becomes easier and easier as you go through countries. In the case of, say, All for One winning, you take down Japan, you move on to the next country, and the next country, and the next country, and at a certain point, the enemy has more territory than you. So you're fighting the uphill battle at that point. So if you don't take care of the situation going on in Japan, it's very quickly could be your problem, and it could just be you as the last bastion. So you should care.
Yeah, it's like in Risk. Even if you're not currently vying for control of Australia, you still jump in when it looks like someone's going to actually win.
Yeah. Anybody who's played like the Europa series or any of those grand strategy games, it's just like, why do I care what's going on over there? Well, if they control Constantinople, you know how much more money they're going to make?
What do you mean Ming didn't explode this time?
Yeah, what do you mean Ming didn't explode this time? They're just gigantic and have like all of the... Okay. They're just walking across to all of Central Asia to come fight me in Austria? That's fucking fantastic. So, yeah, it's just, once again, the satirization thing is go watch the Jersey episode of South Park. By God, that episode is almost like 20 years old now. That is insane to me. So... But yeah, you have stuff like this where that's like a kind of like an atypical reaction, but the actual reaction is, yes, we should be rooting for them because it could become our problem.
Yeah, and as far as the kid not recognizing All Might, once again, All Might's condition was kept secret from the public up until just recently, and he hasn't exactly been, even though it is public that he's retired and he's crippled and stuff like that, he still hasn't been a public figure since then, so most people still don't know what he actually looks like.
Right.
It's basically only people who saw the Camino Ward footage.
Yeah. And it's been, Endeavor, Genus, Talks, all doing the press conference shit. Not All Might. The policemen, those guys. All Might has not gotten in front of not gotten up on the mic because he was retired. So he has no... reason to go behind the mic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's retired, so he doesn't really have any sort of significant sway in the hero stuff. Plus, also, he's been under protection this whole time, because since he doesn't have his quirk, all it would take is just some minor villain walking up and trying to take revenge on him, and he's screwed.
Yeah. So while he's been, doing his, workout routine and keeping up his cardio so he doesn't up and die just randomly. He's just been kind of living on campus, and then
he's been relegated to just living perpetually on UA basically, and always being under, whenever he leaves, always being under some sort of security detail from the police and stuff like that.
Yep. The only exception, I guess, was when he was following Deku around during his Lone Wolf arc, and he ran into those two villains, and they didn't even recognize him until they got a better look at him, like, oh shit, that's All Might. You know what I mean? So, if people in his own country aren't privy to what's going on, the rest of the world is not going to know, outside of people, they showed off Shield's daughter. I forget her name, but she's the one that made the Hercules. Yeah, Melissa. She's the one who made all the Hercules stuff because her dad's too busy in jail.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Either way, again, it was a reasonable episode for what it was. Stain showing up, that he's... I still think he's going to take one for the team, is the nicest way to put it. Stain's probably going to die here.
He's probably either going to die or at least be like seriously injured to where he can no longer operate as Stain.
Right.
That he'll be like retired level injured.
Yeah. You know what also doesn't operate properly? The Crunchyroll player. Just keeps happening. Unsurprising. I didn't really have too much more to say about this. I know that there's a lot of cool stuff coming based on clips and stuff. Just I'm on the internet looking at stuff. It just comes across my feed. It's there. I ignore it, but I still see a couple frames here and there. So, you know, I know there's some cool stuff coming now that we've moved into the you know, past the recap and stuff like that. I did see like this random clip of it wasn't even a clip. It was just a single like frame, and it just showed Deku and Shigaraki just in their like waltz that they're having, and it's just like meanwhile, and it shows those two, and it's just like Shigaraki saying, "So what'd you have for lunch?" It's like, oh yeah, sandwich, you know, because they're waiting. But as funny as that is, all of this is happening at the same exact time. So it's not like this happens and then, you know, say like whatever happens with the All for One fight, then, you know, Shigaraki and Deku's fight happens. All this stuff is happening all at the same time.
Yeah, like freaking Takeuchi said, like their fight is currently in a bit of just like a lull and a standstill at the moment. So that's why part of why it's not getting as much focus.
Yeah. So they're just kind of doing their thing, but this is all happening in, you know, all at the same time, all within, you know, a 10-minute time frame. You know what I mean? Just everything, probably all of it. You know, like while all this is going on, all the stuff with the Todorokis is probably also going on. You know, them dealing with Dabi. You know, that we already saw.
We even established at the beginning of this fight with All Might and stuff like that, Dabi's still going nuclear. Shigaraki hasn't even shown up there yet.
Yeah. So it's just everything's happening at once. You can't take it as the chronological order. It's just they're showing this first, then this, but it's all happening at the same time. You know, all during the same thing. So either way, again, reasonable start to the season. I can understand why people were complaining about the first 10 minutes. It is what it is, but you know, it happens. They do recaps. They want to accentuate, you know, All Might's character, stuff like that, and that's completely fine. So, we know all the super cool stuff is going to happen, you know, coming up here with the big climax to every remaining fight, that kind of thing. We wrapped up the flower guy pretty much unceremoniously. I mean, he's not coming back from that. He's a plant. He's been completely just toasted.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see if potentially anything else happens with Aoyama and Hagakure and the rest of the fight, but it seems like they're basically just going to be relegated to cleanup duty on the corpse flowers.
Yep.
One thing I will say is, unless something does happen to Aoyama in the end here, freaking a big focal point a lot of people had with the epilogue was basically who gets with who. This pretty much totally establishes at this point that it's definitely Aoyama and Hagakure are going to end up hooking up if, like I said, nothing actually happens to Aoyama by the end here.
Right. So it's always the relationship backbone, right? That's the thing shonen authors really care about. But,
yeah, I mean, it does make a lot of sense, just from the standpoint of they both have light-based quirks, but also because like one of Hagakure's kind of sticking points is the whole thing of since she can't turn her power off, she basically got like kind of strong-armed into hero work because it's basically the only thing she can do while being invisible.
Right.
But if Aoyama's quirk allows her to actually become visible, she could basically live a semi-freaking normal life with him around.
Right.
Plus, also, just in general, they've had a lot of interaction and chemistry over the course of the show. Like, the only other character that, like, she's even been remotely as, like, connected with would be, like, maybe, freaking, what's his face? The multi-arm guy.
Oh, yeah, Tentacle.
Yeah, I don't remember his freaking actual name. Shoji, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll just have to see. I assume we'll get, like, a pretty bigger, you know, like an epilogue, because I'm sure, based on anytime a series ends, it's always a point of contention. And I know the author didn't do a great job with this, but then did the epilogue, and now they have a chance to add more to it with the anime, so we'll probably see some anime. Not anime, it'll be anime original, but it'll be like the author saying, hey, do this.
Yeah, from what I've heard, like, the most of people's big issue with the ending was all resolved by the epilogue. Was basically just that it, like, ended too abruptly and too, like, with too much left open. But that the epilogue covered most of what people were missing out on, and that they were relatively fine with it after the epilogue.
Right. So, either way, the series should close on Deku getting married to Ordinary Woman, right? That's been the fanfic that's been circulating since last year. So, that would be the biggest hard left turn. That would be hilarious. But,
yeah, that was one of the biggest things I do remember hearing about the original ending before the epilogue, was everyone insisting that Ochako got with Bakugo because there's like one scene where they're like hanging out together or something like that.
Yeah.
And everyone getting all pissed off about that.
Right. So either way, we'll see what happens. But anyway, that's all I got. Anything else, Sage?
I don't think so.
Alrighty then. Well then, ladies and gentlemen, people of YouTube, beyond, however you're watching, as always, we appreciate you stopping by and hanging with us here in the dojo for more Anime Night in the Dojo. And this was My Hero Academia, final season, episode 1. So have a good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is for you. Have a good one. See you next time.
Hey everyone, Victoria here. If you enjoyed the video, please consider pushing those like and subscribe buttons. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thanks again for your time, and we hope to see you again in the future.